Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be answering the question, how did journaling transform my life and help me lead a life of intention? Let's jump in. In a nutshell, journaling helped me calm my inner life, get to know my inner emotions and thoughts, and then it also helped me soothe those sometimes very tumultuous feelings. It also helped me express my frustrations and needs and desires in such a way that was helpful for relationship building. Feel free to use the chapter markers to skip around as you see fit. Journaling is not the answer to all of life's problems and to growth. Journaling is used best when it's done in concert with other things such as faith, therapists, healthy community, good self-care, sleep, and the list can go on and on. But my point is that it was an instrumental tool in helping me develop as a human. And it can do the same for you. So the first part of this video is, how does this connect to intentional living? Intentional living is about leading a life that moves away from traditional success metrics and moving towards leading a life of intention that has meaning, transformation, and is really focused on being and becoming and belonging to others, as opposed to just checking off big things in our massive accomplishment lists. So with respect to journaling, it's a tool that helps you get to know yourself, be yourself in some senses, become more in other senses, and belong more fully to others. Because our bodies and ourselves are the only actual tool that we have to give to the world, it is important to get to know ourselves, and journaling is one of those things that will supercharge that process. So before I started journaling, I grew up in a rough part of town in a single parent home of immigrants. And the priority at that time was not getting to know the inner life of ourselves or the other kiddos that are around, but simply making sure that we had enough money to put food on the table and pay for the rent to make sure that we had shelter. Because of that, there was not a lot of space for my caretakers to take care of me beyond those two basic needs. As a result, things got pretty crazy and tumultuous inside and in here as I started growing up, both from my elementary all the way up until my teen years. Some of the things that I lacked was someone getting to know what was going on inside of my thoughts. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? Why was I feeling this way? There was not any level of curiosity going on. And because of that, there was no one there to help soothe and calm the inner storm that was going on. As I look back, I realized that I had different phases to my journaling. So right around the time I turned 13, for whatever reason, an idea sparked in my head and I bought a 3-ring binder. I literally just began to write different things and ideas that were going on. I had no framework for journaling. I had no intention or any specific desires. It was just interesting to start writing and to do. Then phase 2 of journaling kind of was the time when I was becoming an adult and started dating then my future wife. The phases continued to change with every season of my life, into parenthood, into becoming a teacher, into transitioning careers. And one of the things that would happen throughout these phases, depending on the level of suffering or pain or new insights that I would be having, journaling became an aspect for me to allow myself to express myself in a very safe way. I have not arrived yet. There are still periods of great suffering and chaos that make things very crazy internally. Journaling is still actively helping me now. So these are the 4 most important benefits that I received from journaling. So the first benefit of journaling for me is that it helped me get to know my inner life. Both when I was a young teen or a new parent, I didn't know all that was going on. There was some big emotions of anger or of depression or of frustration that I just didn't know how to label. And the act of sitting down regularly to write out my thoughts allowed me to kind of put words and language around the inner life. The second benefit of journaling for me was that it allowed me to calm all of the inner storm. Because I was able to give language to all of the emotions, it kind of moved them from being blended with me and it allowed me to get some distance between me and the emotions. In that process, I was able to see things far more clearly. The third benefit is that journaling helped me express my dreams and desires before I was able to share them with anyone. I have a journal entry that I wrote out that I wanted to marry then my future wife. And I expressed all the reasons why. I hadn't shared this with a friend. I had not shared this with others. This was just me by myself in my journal. And there were other periods in my life where I was just able to safely express my desires and sit with them and not just allow them to be inside, but to be externally expressed so I can kind of sit on them and linger on them and see if there's something I really wanted to do. The fourth benefit of journaling is that it helped me express my frustration about others before I actually shared that with them. It allowed me to disentangle my thoughts before I was able to share with them. And the importance of doing something like that is that you don't need to give others your first draft of your thoughts and of your emotions. You can give them the second or third draft of your thoughts. And a lot of times that is going to help alleviate some of the relational pressures of giving them some of the storm. So I have a few journaling tips for you. The first one is go buy a cheap journal. We can get into the specifics about what kind of journal, the GSM of the paper, the flow of the pen, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, the goal is just to get a journal. Number two, create a habit of journaling 5 minutes once a week. Or if you're feeling a little bit up for it, do it 2 minutes once a day. And I mentioned only doing it for a little bit of time because it's better to have consistency than to have a huge spike of doing it and then letting it go altogether. The next tip is that when you journal, go ahead and just stick to some journaling prompts. There are a million prompts out there that you can find online, but my personal favorites are 3 simple questions. What is going on in my mind? What is going on in my heart? What is going on in my body? Those are the 3 basic questions that I like to regularly ask myself that are very helpful no matter what the season of life is. You should note that there's going to be times when you're doing your discipline of journaling and you just don't know what to write. There has been periods of time where I literally write, I don't know what to write. Another important tip that I learned is that you don't belong to journaling. Journaling belongs to you. Give yourself permission to increase your journaling over time. There's going to be seasons where you need it more, so go ahead and journal more during that season. On the other hand, give yourself permission to pull back from journaling as you may not need it at the time. If the season is pretty overwhelming and there's a lot going on, that is probably a hint that you may want to pick up journaling a little bit more. Over the last 21 years, journaling has helped transform my life and has brought me from a lot of chaos to calm. And I believe it can do the same for you. If this added value to your life, hit the like button. If you want to see more of this type of content, hit the subscribe button. Let's keep the conversation going. Let me know in the comments how journaling has helped you. I'll see you guys next time.